Sorry about that, everybody. I reached my recording limit in the last video, so I think it was cut off sort of mid explanation. So we'll go back quickly over question 7, and we were looking at rancor most nearly means something, and we identified from the passage that that had a negative meaning, right? It was a thumbs down for whatever that was. So we want something that's going to have a negative definition, and that eliminated passion and warning. Those are not really negative. And then we're down to either prejudice or bitterness. And both of those are negative words. Which one would be the best fit? Well, if you're on the test and you weren't really entirely sure, you're down to a 50-50 shot. That's pretty good. You just go with your gut here. But if you think about from the context of it, it says these are things that had irritated him, that these jewels, he cherishes heart, is this rancor against these things. They spoiled somewhat the memory of his lost darling. That seems to fit more with he's angry at these jewels, he's bitter towards them. That's a little bit better than prejudice, which prejudice would kind of indicate more of that, you're feeling negative towards something without any real good reason, right? That's typically what that word means. All right, so bitterness is the best choice for that. So let's look at the last few questions real quickly. It's going to be a short video, hopefully. The main purpose of these lines, sir, this necklace is worth blah, 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 is to do what? Let's think. Let's read over those a little bit. So 87 through, where was this now? Oh, right here. I know it's kind of hard to see on this tiny screen here. But it says 87 through 80. Sir, that necklace is worth... Oh, the jeweler says, sir, that necklace is worth 12 to 15,000 francs, but I could not buy it. Well, think about the context of the story that we have here, right? The whole assumption is that they're not very wealthy, that he doesn't like the fact that she's wearing these fake jewels. It bothers him, but she still does. She dies, he's broke, he goes to sell the jewels. So this was a plot twist, right? The jewels turn out, not to be fake. So we want something that indicates this would be a surprise, right? We wouldn't really know this. All right, let's see. Offer a resolution to Lantine. Well, his crisis is partly that he's out of money, but that's not really what's going on here. Okay, that's out. Foreshadow future happiness. Well, we don't know that. He might, be continually miserable for the death of his wife. Create a plot twist by suggesting a conflict. Okay, well that's got kind of what we're looking for here. Plot twist, though we do have that word there. What kind of conflict do we have? Develop an antagonist character in the story. Well, no, that's not. We're not developing anything with the jeweler in the story. That's out. So it looks like it would have to be C, right? We have this unexpected thing happening, and conflict in this case would be, well, he thought that these jewels were fake, but it turns out that no, they're actually, at least this one, is very valuable. All right. 2 more questions. Number 9. The end of the passage suggests which of the following was true of Madame Lantine. All right, well, the end of the passage was, as we mapped it out, that Lantine, or however you pronounce his name, is astonished, right? He thought that these jewels were worthless, and they're not. Which of these fits with what would that indicate about his wife? Let's see. Well, she was a notorious jewel thief. I don't think we have any evidence for that in the story, right? I mean, no, that doesn't suggest that she stole the jewels. She accrued massive debts to purchase her. Well, that's possible, for sure, but there's nothing in the story that would indicate that that was the case, right? Nowhere does that happen. It doesn't talk about any debts that she had, so I think that's out. She hid a substantial inheritance from her husband. Well, this is also possible. We're kind of thinking about how did she end up getting these real jewels? But again, we want to be very careful. Does it ever mention or suggest that she would have had an inheritance? No, it doesn't in that passage. So that's got to be out. Now, D is, let's see what we got here. She was not as virtuous as her husband believed. Again, it seems like, well, why would that be the right answer? But if you think about it, remember they spent a lot of time talking about, character in the relationships, is that the husband doted upon his wife, and he thought in that passage that she seemed to be absolutely innocent and pure, right? Pure as the wind-driven snow. So that would kind of indicate that we might have some evidence for this, that maybe he was mistaken about who she was and what she was actually up to during their marriage. So that's got to be our answer. That's kind of a tough one. But the idea should be that you would try to eliminate as much as possible that can't be right. Right? The stuff where, jewel thief, no, that's not mentioned, debt's not mentioned, inheritance not mentioned, but the virtue is mentioned in the story. So that would indicate this would be our answer. All right, what about 10? What central theme does the excerpt communicate through Lantine's experiences? Well, let's just make a prediction here before we look at the answers. Lantine's experience was he was happily married, he thought his wife was this one thing, and then, at the very end, after she died and he was selling her jewels, he was totally taken aback by, basically he was completely wrong with his assessment about those jewels. So it seems like he was surprised. And I think that leaps out at us has got to be A. Appearances can be deceiving. Yes, I'm not going to, you can take a moment and look at why the other ones would be out, but that would be our answer. Okay, so this, again, kind of we're pushing the 6-minute mark here. Let's stop there. I will be posting up some other videos on other passage types a little bit later, but hopefully that works for you for the literature passage.